Hey there. So, can video games make you money in D&D? 100% they can. They absolutely can, and I've been playing Skald against the Black Priory, and I'm 100% convinced that this game will not only make you a better DM, but it will improve other aspects of your game that you might not even know. So, the first off, if you haven't played it yet, it's essentially this 90s era graphics, but much more robust than games could be in the 90s. And then you play kind of like an RPG adventure. And it's even a little bit like D&D rules too in a way, so it's really fun. It feels like D&D to me. And so the one thing though, how you can get better and how you can make more money in D&D by playing this game is by using your narration voice, bringing people in when you need to. It gives you, like, if you treat this game like you're running the session, it has convinced me that not only will you be able to distinguish between, because, we're not always talking about, we're not always giving those really deep, slow changing of our pace, the pitch. We're not doing that for every single thing. We want to narrate the very important parts. We want to bring them in with how we're narrating. And this game can help you do that. And I'm going to show you how. So what I'm going to do is start a new game on here. So let's do this. Let's put myself down here. Let's pull up Skald against the Black Priory. Let's just start a new game. And we're back. Okay. Let me make sure we got you centered here. Whoa. Ooh, there we go. Okay. So, how can this game be better? This is the opening beginning. We're treating Skald like we're running a DM session, and this is what we want to do. So in the beginning, you are treating this like this is your players. And so if this is you at the beginning of your session, if this is you at the beginning of your campaign, you want to bring them in with this. This is where you want to get your narration voice. You want to do it right. You want to have your pace on point because this is going to immerse your players in your game. That's what we want to do. We want to keep bringing them back. Now I'm going to try to focus because I have my dog panting right behind me. He's just like, we just got back from a walk and he's not calmed down yet. So I even going to deal with a little bit of distraction, but what we want to do here is bring our players in. On the wine-dark, raging seas out of the outer isles, a lone caravel struggles against the winds and waves towards the accursed land, Hydra. The moan of creaking timbers, the tang of preserved fish. Your eyes slowly adjust to the darkness of the ship's dimly lit hold. Suddenly, something strikes the hull and the ship rocks violently. Your heart begins to pound and a feeling of unease grows in your stomach. What would you guys like to do? So, although it wasn't very long, mine tended to be a little longer. That's really a good start. That's what you would want. Of course, you're going to mess up sometimes. Who cares? They know you're reading. Your narration stuff, it's red. Who cares if you mess up? So don't worry about it. So, right there, though, you present the problem, you present the scenario, and then you say what you want to do now. What are you going to do? And let's say they are going to... We've been meditating. Now I'm just telling what they're doing. So my narration changes. You get to your feet and you become aware of agitated voices shouting upon the deck. Something is not right. You should make your way up top and get a bearing on the situation. Now, of course, here, I don't really ever say should to my players, but, unless it's like, should you want to do that, go ahead. But obviously, I would ask them again, what do they want to do here? We're not completely treating this like D&D, so here we go. So we're going to be on our way. Okay, and so now we're going to, of course, click around. This game's awesome if you haven't played it, which I will be playing here as we go, because this is, I want to I know all this stuff, so I want to still treat this like it's the session. So this is our players moving around the environment. They, if they say, well, what do I see in my surroundings? You tell them what they see. They are seeing this ship. There's lots of crates. There's things moving around, and they see a chest. Well, now they want to open the chest. Inside that chest, which you find unlocked, you find a dagger and a club. They're going to take both those. Okay. You see a door to the south. The southern part of the room seems to be the only exit. Of course, here, maybe they want to do a roll, that sometimes people want to investigate a little more. Certainly could. As they try to engage with the door, to your surprise, you realize that this door has been locked from the outside. It doesn't budge. Perhaps you could slip the lock with a thin blade, or maybe use something to smash it. Now, giving them an option like that, like encouraging one or two options, especially with a new team, is a great idea. I have new players all the time, and a lot of times they're kind of afraid to speak up in the beginning, but this is a great way to just let them do that. You can present options with them. It doesn't always have to be massively open-ended and do anything you want. Not only will it make your job easier to give them just a few options, but it's really going to help the newer players. So try to remember that. We're going to leave. This is just telling us what our inventory does and things like that. And it's telling us that we should equip one of these things. We're going to bash the door, of course. That's going to be our option. Well, actually, let's see here. Yeah, let's do 2. Yeah, let's try to bash it open. Actually, there's something going on up front or up top. Maybe we'll bash it open for this time. Use the club. Okay. Using the club, you smash the lock open in a fell swoop. The door begins to creak open. As the door swings open, you can now clearly make out cries from the deck above. You should make haste. Let's make haste. As you enter the next room, you see that this room looks a lot like the same. Well, okay, I forgot there was their own narration here, so let's go to this. You stop dead as you narrowly avoid stepping in a rust-red puddle. The stench of blood fills your nostrils. And as you look around in the dim light of the hold, you realize someone or something fought for their life here. The same moment that thought hits you, a hiss sounds from the shadows. You squint towards shadows as a hunched I thought there was a comma right there. You squint towards the shadows as a hunched, feral-looking form slowly slinks forwards. Tiny, disgusting human-like hands, yellow fangs, and a grotesquely dexterous pink tail leaves no doubt of the creature's rodent nature. Though it emerges from the shadows, it becomes abundantly clear that what may have started life as a common ship rat has now grown into something that has no right to exist. A second hiss sounds behind you, and the abominations lunge at you. And now, of course, they're going to go into combat. Now, you don't always have to, they may not go right into combat, you can always ask them. But the moment that I moved up, and there was something that could affect their environment, something that could affect them right then, that's when you go back into your narration voice. That's when you slow down, you draw them back in. It doesn't always have to be slow, but you draw them back in because it's important. Here they're going to have to make a choice. What are they going to do? Now here in our game, we have a club out. We're going to, let's just move them right here. Begin combat and try to club this rat. Now this goes by rounds, okay? So again, just like D&D, you are, I'm choosing essentially to hit this, does 5 blunt damage. So when the players are, doing combat, that's of course what you're saying. You're saying you did 6 blunt damage, but the next thing is at the end of this combat, right when they're about to kill that final rat, you say, what does it look like? Give your players the kill. Unless a player continually doesn't narrate what he does when he is killing a creature or knocking them out or doing that, then that's the time you can step in. But for the most part, you should be letting your players narrate their kills. Let them tell you what it looks like. They will love it, and it's easier for you. Okay, so now you guys are back in this main room, and you're looking around. You see there's lots of barrels. It looks a lot like that room from before. Although this room does seem to have 2 exits. You guys want to search through the crates? Yeah. In some of those crates, you do see some potatoes. So yeah, you could try to see if there's any other crates that might be open in this room. Sure. And as you guys look around, you see it seems like you have found everything in this main area. So what would you guys like to do now? You see there's 2 doors here. Yeah, as you guys go to the left door, you see it is completely open. Although, now, of course, we would have had them roll to try to stop this if they were going to be affected in combat. Typically, it's like a Constitution save in D&D. But I got a disease. And so, of course, telling a player how they got this disease was from this rat. I picked up the lantern here. You guys did find a lantern on the ground. And here I believe there's going to be a potion. Yeah. So inside this barrel, you did just get a disease, but you have found a potion of cure disease. What would you guys like to do? And I think they would try to cure their disease. And so we're going to consume that potion. And the weak disease has ended. Okay, so you guys search the other barrel. There's nothing left in there. And you do find the other door. So you can see both those doors went to the same room. However, in this hold, you see there are stairs that go up. You emerge onto the ship's lower deck, and as your eyes adjust to the darkness, you become aware of a hulking figure standing in the shadows. Victor. Here at last, growls a rough voice. What would you guys like to do? And we are going to ask who's there. Show yourself. It's Roland. Where the tides have you been? Then we're going to say, below decks, planning our landing. Why? The island is in sight. But the damn guilders refuse to land. They want to turn back. If we turn back, we lose our shot at the girl? And no one gets paid. Listen here, I know our boys better than most. We've hired them to go to Hydra and kill. If we don't pay them, things will go badly quickly. But the sailors are bloody terrified. They claim something is hunting us. Let's go, for all the good it will do. Wait, there's a few sailors up ahead, rattled as a pair of rabbits. I missed it, but we're not here to make friends. Spill sailor blood and the guild will want to make you pay. Take the left door ahead and spare us some trouble and a pay cut. So we have 2 options here, perhaps. We'll say perhaps. Anything else you feel compelled to tell me? Let's just get off this bloody boat. We'll leave. So, motioning for you to take the lead, Roland falls in behind you. From above, agitated shouts can be heard. And of course, see how I messed up? You just restart and move on. Who cares? I literally mess up all the time, and I have tons of paid players that show up every single week and they love it. Okay, so we added a new character. You guys joined you have a new player. So what I would do here is we've got a new party member. Say Roland is another person that just joined our campaign. We would just say, as they meet, I say, as this person is approaching the party, like, Roland, why don't you tell the party what you look like as they see you approaching? And then as they are done telling me, I say, the first person that's going to talk, I tell them, so what does Roland see as you approach and speak with them? It gives them an idea of what each of them look like, and it allows them to, it gives them a place to start. You've told them, hey, now you're meeting. And okay, let's skip. All right, so now we have Roland. We went up those stairs. As you guys get to this next room, you've spotted something. There seems to be a note scrawled in crude letters. It says, Kook, I cannot stand another meal of salted fish. There is limit to how a man can live on salt, potatoes, and perklin. Take head or get a dagger in the eye, you cheap bastard. Okay, so that one was a little bit, it threw me off a little bit with the pyro top, which I guess I should have expected. I did play this game for like an hour. And then we've got, okay, so in this room, you do see, there's that recipe with the salted fish that you can't really, you could take if you want. Now, you do see that there's a barrel here. Inside, you see there's 2 fish, and if you sniff them, give me a nature check. Yeah, those are perklin fish. Inside this chest in this room, there's a set of thieves' tools and some gold. Also in this room, you see a bed, so clearly this is a resting area for someone. There's a small workshop. It's like a little table with a few tools hanging on the wall, hanging on the ground. And there's also some type of sharpening object here in the bottom. So there, obviously they would be able to look around and inspect, and I don't know if anything else is here. No, I guess not. Oh, also, did we equip our lantern? I don't think we did. This lantern, there we go. The lantern, okay, perfect thing. If a player has a lantern or they have a torch in Roll20, if you're on Roll20 playing D&D, you want to go into their character sheet and adjust their light. Any map that has dynamic lighting that you've set up, now they will be able to see a little bit further. This does also create the same light for party members around them. So you could tell them that. Okay, so here it says, remember Roland told us the left or the right door? So I went through the right door when I first played, and there was a altercation in there that I was able to talk myself out of, and I think I'm going to try that again. So this door opens up. I could try to hide, but I think I'm just going to go here. The sailors stare at you, wide-eyed and terrified. Dead emperors, it's coming for us. It whispers to me. One of them draws a weapon with shaking hands. Of course, we could say, get away from me, or we can diplomacy versus 10. We're going to try that. Of course, with your players, you're asking, what do you guys want to do here when he says that? If they want to persuade him or use diplomacy, they can roll. So, we are here. We're going to roll dice. This is a little bit different than D&D, but I have to have a 5 on a 2d6 to succeed. So, that's what I need. And yeah, got it. I ended up getting a 15. So, you bring glory upon thine ancestors. The men stop dead in their tracks, seemingly shocked back from their momentary lapse of sanity by your words. The pair blinks towards you in a moment of indecision and stumbles up to the main deck and the tumult that seems to be taking place there. Okay, so we'll leave. All right, we got 100 XP. Excellent job. So as you guys move through this top layer, this boat here, there are a few things in this room. You see some crates. So, oh, you want to inspect the crate? Sure. Inside the crate, you find some salt. All right, so may bring you back. You did find a recipe earlier, so that could be enough. You have some salt, potatoes, and some perkin, some fish. So we're looking around here, of course. Is there anything else? There's stairs up. You also see that there is a door to the north and a bed. Yeah, probably not a suitable time to rest. And you do find another lantern, if both of you want a lantern. So you get to this flimsy wooden door. Now, you could try to pick your way through it. You could maybe try to force it open. And so I think what we'll do is try to force it here. And, oh, you did take a little bit of damage when you punched through this door, because unfortunately, where you punched it, there was just like a splinter, and you have cut your knuckles a bit. Very low damage, but it does affect you. Ooh, inside this room, you see that there is clearly a dead body. This guy has been eviscerated. On the desk there is clearly a desk that for some type of wizard, or you see some vials of different types of vials. Oh, you guys want to do a check and figure out what vials there are? Sure. Now you roll. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, you guys are able to know that there's tonics of vitality, 3 of them. There's electric resistance. That one that kind of has the fire inside, that's the fire immunity potion. And that big one, that's the potion of strength. Yeah, it's good stuff. So as you guys want to inspect the body, you do a medicine check. All right. Well, just looking at him, you recognize the corpse of one of the crewmates. This is a guy that you guys have spoke to on this journey, unfortunately. It's a young man of barely 16 years called Sullum. The youth has been mauled to death by what you assume are the grotesquely altered rats that you encountered just minutes ago. You also know that the corpse is still warm. What do you guys want to do here? See how we identified that was someone they knew. The person is dead. Their corpse is still warm. Maybe if they had gotten here quicker, they would have survived. You added all those things into that one detail right there. You can. And then you say, what do you want to do? You left them on a moment where they're thinking about that. And don't be afraid of silences in your game. Because silence a lot of times is people thinking. And we want them to think. You want a high-level D&D game, you got to let people think. So don't be afraid to not fill your silences. As they leave the corpse, you do see there is a large box. And inside you guys recognize there's a few more tonics. So you're able to look inside. Each of these doors, you do see that there seems to be a little footlocker here. And in that footlocker, you see there's some brandy, a surgeon's general, and or a surgeon's journal, and 8 gold. Okay, yeah, you guys want to loot that? No problem. He's probably not coming back, right? Hopefully the 16-year-old wasn't the surgeon, though. I don't know. And this door, yeah, as you guys go in this last door here, you see another wooden chest, but this one you realize it has a lock. So what would you guys like to do? I'm going to try to pick it or athletics? Yeah, you don't really have much option for thievery, do you? Well, yeah, you could. Maybe it's going to hurt your hand a little more, but feel free. You're going to try to force the lock or force it open. And as you successfully... Oh, well, I guess it says it has 1 HP left. Oh, okay, so the first roll, I guess, wasn't enough. Got it. You guys were able to bash open the chest. Took a little more damage, but inside, it's worth it because you found a masterwork short sword and a buckler. You guys want to equip those things right now? I mean, you're heading up. Might be a good idea to take a minute and decide you are going to equip some of your items. Yeah, you don't have any, reason to not to. You're welcome to. If you want to study any of your other items now, feel free. You guys are up to, I think, around 47 gold overall. Okay, so looking around, you think you've probably discovered everything on this floor. Your kind of last option here is to move up those stairs. Are you guys ready to move up the stairs? You emerge onto the deck and you see 2 groups of men facing each other with weapons drawn. The ship shakes violently in the grip of a storm as lightning tears across the sky. Amidst the din of the storm and their frantic arguments, you bellow for the attention of the assembled crewmen and mercenaries. Both the ship's captain and the leader of the mercenaries you hired, a coarse thug of a man named Estavo, turn their attention to you. They look ready to use the unsheathed weapons in their hands at the slightest provocation. We are going to address the mercenary leader. We hired him, right? The mercenary leader, Estavo, flicks his dark eyes to you, but keeps his blade fixed on that desperate captain. There's a reason he's known as Fireblood to his men. Estavo, You'll get your money, but let me handle this." A cruel smile twitches into life on Estavo's wind-weathered face.
There's only one rich noble girl, but we can always find more sailors.
The ship's captain bristles at these words. "Captain, why have we not dropped anchor?" "Something dire stalks the shores. We cannot approach without risking the ire of that horror." A jittery mutter of agreement rises from the sailors, causing Estavo's eyes to darken even further. "Captain, take us closer, or there will be consequences." The captain lowers his weapon and speaks earnestly. "The coast of Hydra is cursed. We've heard tales and assumed them grog-drenched rumors were only. But there is something between us and that shore that will drag us all to a watery grave." "What are you talking about? What have you seen?"
Naught but glimpses. My men have seen the shadow of something deep in the water, stalking us. Nothing natural moves like that."
Estavo glares murderously at the captain. "You would renege on our deal based on a glimpse?" There is desperation in the captain's voice.
We are seasoned sailors. We do not balk at shadows. You need to be alive to rescue the girl you speak of."
"We're out of time. Sail us in or argue the point with Estavo." Estavo turns his steely gaze from you to the captain.
"Let me spell this out for you, Sea Dog. We contracted to rescue the girl. But if you don't get us to the shore, we'll gut you for free."
The mercenaries you hired all shift their weight in anticipation of making good on that promise. "Captain, he's right. Do what you were hired to do." Something changes in the captain's expression. He stands tall.
"I will not order my ship and my men to certain doom. We shall not get any closer to the coast while I have command."
Now, here's where I'm going to use diplomacy. You would ask your players, what do you guys want to do here? They're going to try to persuade you or persuade this. Obviously, a fight right here is probably not a good thing for everyone. So we're going to try to roll, and it's going to say, I believe you, but my contract is with these men. That does not mean your survival. And so, of course, they're going to have to roll for it. And we needed a 10. We have gotten a 17. We got both sixes there. That's that's basically a nat 20. A few of the ship's crew lower their weapons. The captain's eyes flint between you and Estavo's murderous grin. He sheathes his blade and he speaks softly. His voice is barely audible over the snapping sails. "So be it. May the deep have mercy." Suddenly, huge, monstrous tentacles burst from the water around the ship. For a split second, before the terror sets in, you wonder what Estavo must be thinking as the monstrosities loom over him. After reaching their full height, the tentacles curve inwards and smash into the ship. Some pierce straight through the deck. Others snap the masts like they were matchsticks. You stand frozen in place. Through a haze of splintered wood and panic screams, you notice Roland. He throws himself out of the way of a tentacle, but begins to fall overboard as the ship lurches once more. Are they going to go to Roland's aid, or are they going to leave him to his fate? Of course they're going to go to his aid. You dash towards the ship's fractured rail, dodging holes in the deck and wounded men, beseeching you for help. Roland hangs by one arm from the side of the ship. Try to grab him. You lunge for Roland's arm, but he loses his grip and your fingers close only around thin air. You missed him by an inch. He falls wordlessly downwards. You watch as he is swallowed by the raging sea. The ship is listing fatally. You see the great tentacles high above you, poised for the coup de grace. As you jump, you hear the terrible rending of wood giving to flesh. The impact of the water winds you. The waves pummel you down. The currents beseech you to go deeper, ever deeper. Peaceful blackness as you sink further to the dark, into the deep. And that's where we're going to end the session today. So, as you guys saw, you can play this game. You can play Skald just like you're running a session. And I hope you guys learned a little bit from this video. I hope you understand that if you treat it like this, there's a lot of things you can, a lot of games you can play this way, but this is one that I found recently. It's set up for this. It is set up to make you more money in D&D. That's what I think you should do. So thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.